Pathfinder Pack Stove. So I just received this today. A bit excited. There aren't too many videos on this, actually, except for Dave's own videos. I think I found one, maybe two videos that covered this stove. So there really isn't much out there. Anyways, after I opened it and pulled it out of the box, I was taken aback by quality issues. We're going to take a look at it. So, as advertised, it comes in this nice little bag. And comes wrapped in Ziploc baggies. And that's the stove. So, if you just look at this before I pull it out of the bag, I don't know if you can see what I see, but something doesn't line up right here. And there's some other issues. So I'm going to pull these out of the, this is fine. Well, actually, there is a little issue with this too from one video that I saw. But I'm going to pull this out of the Ziploc baggie and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so in general, it's a nice little package. You could drop this inside of a Trangia Mini. Maybe put a little pouch around it or something to stop it from sliding around, banging around, which was one of my intended probable uses. But, I don't mean to be nitpicking, but I think that the things that I found right off the bat before firing it up and making me wonder whether or not I want to send it back and see if these are just flaws in this particular unit, which I tend to think they're not. All right, so let's go to the back, the bottom. So, you see this plate? This thing is, see this? I don't know if you can see that without the flash, but that's a spring. This is actually held in place. Oh, look at that. It just blew apart. Now I got to figure out which way this sits because it's a graduated spring. Oh, okay. I think I figured it out. Let's see. Okay, I've got to figure it out. So oops, almost dropped it on my lap. So, butterfingers here. It's a conical spring, and this diameter fits on here. So that makes sense. Let me play with this and get it back together, and then I'll come back. Okay, we're back. Well, that was my fear. And I'll tell you, and here's the reason why. So you saw what happened. All I was doing was showing you that this is spring-loaded, okay? That's all it is just a bottom plate. Well, actually, it's the burner, okay? And then you have this plate here with a spring in between, okay? And then what this is this is just two V's welded together in the center, okay? And they come around, they got these little claws on the bottom. But here's the issue, and I picked this up right away. If you look at this, look at how this is barely on the edge. That was the reason why it popped apart in the first place. You see how this side right here is, look at how much gap is here. Look at the big gap that's here. Now, if we go this way, you kind of got the same thing going on. Let me get this out of the way so you can see the contrast. You see, it's not even sitting flat. All right, so you think, you're nitpicking. I'm barely moving that. Now, there it is right there. But that's going to move again. It's going to move again. Now, this one's off, so now I got to push it this way. And this one is not even touching. So these three are holding it down, which tells me that this thing's not going to be flat and level on the top when you put a pot on it. I don't know. Okay, so now when you look at this, no matter what you do, this is not in the center of the burner. All right, maybe I'm being too picky for bushcraft purposes, but that's baloney. If I want my pan in the center, I want a center on here. The flame is not going to be centered on the bottom of the pan, which is the whole reason why I bought this in the first place. Now, here's the next thing. Now, when you see these V's, you look at it and you think, it's just two V's, and they're welded in the center. I wish I could give you a little more light, but so now watch this. Look at how this is. See how that's almost a straight line? That's not bad. But watch when I turn it this way. Look, come on, Dave. Look at this. The thing's shooting off like that. All right, am I being too picky? I don't know. I mean, it's only an $18 item, but here I am. I'm trying to center it what I'm afraid is going to happen is it's going to blow apart and that spring's going to fly out. If I'm out in the woods, I'm going to lose that spring. So now, so that looks good, almost good, right? What would you say? That's almost center. But then when you come on the bottom, it's not quite center. I don't know, man. All right, so the way this works is this goes in here. And if that, see now I'm fighting it because it's not lined up. So it wants to go like this. So now you got to play, you got to fudge with this. All right, so this is nice. You can hold this and spin it around. That's kind of nice. I don't know where this thing is made, but I don't know if it's made in the USA on a Monday or Friday or if it's made overseas. So that's kind of center, and look at the way it's sitting. This is barely catching. Now, obviously, once the stove is connected, this won't fly off like it did before because it's connected. Oh boy. Okay, so the way this works is you can either fold these down, obviously, for smaller cup, or you can open them up for up to about a 7.5 inch or something. I didn't measure it. Well, let's see. My finger stretch is 6 inches. So there you go. There's 6 inches right there, roughly. There was I was watching one review, and while it was running, this gets hot. The fella had this little tool he used to turn this up and down. So I'm a little concerned about that. I'm not so sure I want to plug this in and even try it. I'm almost thinking about sending it back, but all right, I'm gonna go grab isobutane thing. I'm gonna grab my Trangia kit, and let's see how it sits. If it sits flat, all that good stuff. Okie dokie. So this would be my little mini setup. So let's see. Now normally, hang on. This is what I've been using. I've been using a Peak 1. So far it's been a nice little setup for the Trangia Mini. It's a good, the flame is it's a good spread for the Trangia Mini. I get a decent even flame. It's not, hot, center hotted like with the alcohol burner. But it kind of slides around a little bit. It's hit or miss to get it to sit center. So sometimes I'm afraid that, like, if I want to put a pot down and not paying attention, I might be a little off center. So that's another reason why I got this one. I would normally use this, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So how easy is this to put together? Make sure the valve is off. Just spin it. And that's it. Let's see how the Trangia Mini sits on here. Does it sit flat? No, it doesn't. It's wobbling because of what I was saying before. It's the bottom. If you've got a gap right there and you can see the gap, what do you think's happening? It's not going to sit flat. Let's try the pot. Oops. I'm getting a rock here. I mean, I'm getting plenty of surface area where it's not really going to go anywhere. Okay. Well, I tried to mess with this. This is very stiff. I'd have to put this, I don't know. I'd have to grab a pair of channel locks or something and really to try and get this to do this so minutely without, I mean, it shouldn't break on the weld, but I don't trust it. So here's the next thing. I was checking this. If I wanted to use my Stanley cup, it rocks. Let's fold the feet in. Okay. Look at all the play that's in this thing. Because it's on a spring. I'm barely touching it. You can end up not, look at it. Bingo. That's just what would happen outside in the woods. I really wanted to like this. I thought it was going to be cool, but I think the QC on this is really horrible. I don't care if it is $18. You shouldn't have to go through that. All right, so let's do another test. This is the Trangia 25, and we have the same thing where it doesn't sit flat. Okay. All right, I'm done. I was able to fix this. So what I had to do is take it apart. And what I did is I held this and I put this on here and I figured out which one of these two ends were up so that it was rocking like this. The ones that are, we'll say, pushing up, you take it, open it up, and very gently, just take something I use these channel locks, and I just pound it on here, pound it on this side. This is one piece, this is another piece, and they're welded in the center. You see how that's done? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this arm from this V and this arm from that V, because they're pushing up to flatten out so they'll even out with the other two legs, or two arms, I should say. And now, I went slow. There we go. Now it's sitting and there's no rock. And I also tried my my Stanley cup. We'll look at it after. But it seems to be better. So I'm going to put this back together. Oh, the other thing I did too. Remember I was saying how when you look down, they weren't straight. So it's just a matter of, you got to be careful. But I kind of bent it a little bit to get it a little straighter across. That's better. See? This one's not too shabby. That was how I got that straightened out. It's better than what it was. Better than yesterday. The reason it popped apart is because when it was under pressure, I picked it up out of the bag and I pushed on it like that, and not realizing it, it just came apart. So to put it back together, obviously you got to put the stove down. You got to play with it a little bit.
It's kind of a little geometry thing.
Actually, it's probably going to be a little tougher to put it. Okay, here we go. All right, now, this is the toughest part. Again, the smaller, see how this is a conical spring? The smaller end, there's a wide mouth and there's a narrow mouth. The narrow mouth fits right over, there's a lip. If you look on the inside, see there's a lip right there? That's this side is flat, shiny. And this is where the rolled edge of the metal is. So the narrow mouth goes over that ring. And then you need to do is you're going to have to put it in on an angle. If this happens out in the field, you're going to have to put it in kind of like, push it past it and then slide it down. And hopefully that won't, I'll have to be mindful of that. You can't grab it and put any pressure down like this, because if you do, you're liable to push it, and that's what happened, and it just flew apart. So I'll have to be mindful of that. So let's see. Simulate. Yeah. Now it's sitting nice and flat. All right, I'm a happy camper now. No pun intended. What I do like about this is when you put this in here, the only thing you gotta do once you get on, you just spin it. It goes on nice and quick and easy. I like that. All right, let's try this again. And you can spin that. Something don't feel right. Okie dokie. Let's see how the big pan. It's kind of the problem with the Trangia, this particular Trangia pan, is that it's slippery. This pan slides around because it's got a shiny bottom on it. But it's sitting flat now. That one's sitting flat somewhat. It's pretty good. Here's the real test. Let's try my Stanley cup. It's still rocking a little bit. I thought I had this. All right, well, it's not too bad. It was worse than that before. Maybe I'll play with it again and see if I can get this one to sit flatter. Let's put this one on. Yep, sitting nice and flat. It's pretty good. All right, I'm gonna go grab a torch. Well, after all that, I got a bad valve. Look at it. You can't even hear it. It's not even opening the gas. There's a gap right here. It seems to me that should go all the way down. That's the reason for the seal. So it's probably not going all the way down like it should in order to make the connection. Oops. This is bizarre. I can barely even get the, I'll tell you, it's The first couple times I put it on, it seemed like it screwed. Now there's something wrong with the valve after all that. Let's see, let's put this on here. I mean, I know the stove has nothing to do with it. It's not, it's like I'm really fighting it right now. And I don't think I should be fighting it. Now it's down. There it is. Wow. Wow. That's pretty tight. That's really tight. There it is. Got gas in the house now. I guess you got to put the stem on the can first. That doesn't, oh, man. All right, let's try it again. Let's turn the light off. Let's see how low it'll go. That sounds like an airplane. So you get it just past the airplane, and that's your lowest setting. Highest setting, ooh, wow, that thing really kicks. Woohoo! That's not even wide open. All right, let's turn the lights back on, and let's boil some water for tea. And I usually put a cover on it to help it boil faster. And just crank it up. I like the fact that it's a wider flame for these pans. A little more center hot spots. So I'll do some videos on cooking, see how it works out. But those are my experiences opening this out of the box. So if anyone gets one, now you know what you're might have to deal with. This literally, you see how much flame I got on the bottom of it? So I've got it like cranked so it's at the outside edges. This literally came up to a boil in no time. I have about, let me look. I made marks on my can. Let me turn this off. It doesn't seem too hot. I have, I put a couple of scribe marks on my thing, so that's 1 cup and that's 2 cups. And yeah, I'm just about 1 cup of water right there. I wasn't timing it, but man, did that come up fast, real fast. And that was cold water out of the refrigerator. And my refrigerator runs cold, so that water was really, really, really cold. So that's like simulating a cold river. So that's good. I kind of expected that. So that's a good thing. Getting the bugs out of it. Hopefully I can get to enjoy this thing, and we'll find out over longer periods of cooking whether or not this actually gets hot. I mean, right now it's not. Okay, why not? Let's do a test on the Stanley cup. And I've got the flame pushing up beyond the outsides, just because I wanted some heat power, some BTUs. I wanted to see what this will do. So I have 1 cup in there with the cover on, and I'm timing it, and we'll see how long it takes. Okay, so literally 1.5 minutes and my water's starting to boil. And quite honestly, 165 degrees is technically all you need. You don't need 210. But 1 minute and 36 seconds, and that water was boiling. Nice, nice. So it's got the BTU kick, and the size of the flame, I think, is helping that a lot. Also, I'll show you something I just got. These things are called hot lips. They come 2 in a package. You do is you put that on the lip. They're made by Snow Peak. Snow Peak hot lips. They're made out of silicone. You still gotta watch the upper lip, because if your upper lip goes to the inside of the hot cup, you're gonna get burned. So what you wanna do is just, just put it against your bottom lip, and you can drink out of your hot cup. Pretty cool, and they work good. Oh man, it just doesn't end. First off, this thing stays hot for a really long time. I wanted to break this thing down. I had to stick it in the refrigerator to cool it down. I went to take this apart. Now it wants to come apart here instead of here. So now I got to take this off. That's ridiculous. That's so tight. Now I have to use a tool to get that off. I need to do this. Oh man, that thing's tight. That's tight. Look at that. I just nicked that. All right, let's use a small screwdriver. Oh my goodness. Man, that thing is tight. Oh, maybe you don't want to put that really tight. The key is put it on and then just snug it. That's it. But even that, because you know, let's see what happens. Let me just loosen it. Put this back on. Actually, let's take this off. Let's put this back together. Make sure that's good and tight. All right, let's simulate putting this together. I didn't have any problems with it before, but this is the first time I applied heat to it. Come on. Okay. Okay, that's it. It stopped. Take it and just, that's it. A little, okay. Yeah, see? This one wants to come undone. So now I have to carry a screwdriver or something to loosen it. So now I need one more instrument to take it apart. Hey. I don't know. You guys see everything I'm going through. What do you think? Is it worth it? $19? $18? I think it's $17.99. I'll use it for a little bit. We'll see. But I'd be interested in your comments. You see everything I went through to try and set this up and what I'm going through now after I'm done using it. Packing. I want to show you how this works with the Trangia and the Stanley Cup. So when you put this together, you want to make sure this is sitting on top of the stove and don't let it like drop down in front of it, because then it'll get a little bulky for our needs. So you make sure it's at the top, zip it. Now this bag is gonna wrinkle. And by the way, this does have a belt loop on it if you wanted to do that. So this is probably going to ruin this bag. It's kind of a little canvas bag, but you can take it, squish it down into a Trangia Mini, and get my little legs. I use a full size. I have a full size Trangia pot handle. Where's my top? And snap. It's not bad. It's pretty quiet. That's not bad at all. I have 2 film cans, one salt, one with pepper. Used to go in here when I was using my Peak 1 stove, but so that works. Now you may find it interesting. There's one other thing that works. So this was originally specifically designed for this case, just the way you see it, to drop down into the Pathfinder 1 quart can. However, if you have a Stanley, okay. This. Sorry about that. My camera dropped. You can take it and squish it right down inside there. And if you have the hot lips, since you can't use the cups, you can have the hot lip, put that in there. Bada bing, bada boom. So that works with a Stanley Cup too. It fits right in there. I was wondering about this. I was wondering if it was going to fit in here. And it does. So it works with the Trangia Mini Kit and it works with the Stanley Cup. What do you think of that? That's good. All right. I think I'm done. Peace. Later.